Hello and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome. Today we're talking about a fanfiction called What Silly Love Spells Can Do. Details about this fanfiction will be in the description below. Arthur is once again affected by a love spell. What's new? Technically it was supposed to be a normal day for Merlin, and everything was normal, right? King and Princess came over. Princess Enid, is supposed to fall in love naturally and seal a, I was supposed to say pact. That's not what that is. It did just uniting the kingdoms. There we go. But naturally, of course, sort of. And that clearly didn't happen because Merlin going out to stay, doing his chores, and he overhears the king that's in like 20 other kingdom saying, about the love spell. So he overhears it. He's like, oh crap. Immediately now he has to run to Arthur. And he gets there kind of in time. Sorta. Arthur's already drunk the wine. But on the bright side, he looked at Merlin. So now he's in love with Merlin. And Enid obviously is, she tries to immediately she turns his face away and be like, no, but it's already too late. All right, it's already too late. He already lives with Merlin. It's clearly fine, right? He brushes her off, right? He's just looking at Merlin like a dopey face. And this is where Enid is upset. So upset, in fact, that she actually reveals they're like lizard people or something. So not great. So she transforms and she's like clearly going to kill Merlin. It's like, not great. And Merlin, because they're in such they're in a room, like there's such a small space, he almost thinks of risking it to reveal his magic. Because you gotta defend yourself, don't want to die, but they're in such a small space as it is. But Arthur kind of beats it to him, right? Because he's sitting there, he takes a sword from the table and immediately kills her, right? Stabs her. Merlin's just there in shock of just everything that happened in the span of 5 seconds. Just too much happened. Arthur bends down, it's like, are you alright? It's like, right? And it's he says it in such a tone where it's like, ooh, what is this? Because it's such it's such a loving kind of tone he's saying it in, right? Very different from how he usually is. He literally is calling Merlin my love. And Merlin obviously recognized the situation immediately. He's like, oh god, no. We need to get the guys immediately. Right now. Right? Yesterday. And, he's saying this and he's like, okay, stop calling me my love. Just immediately stop calling me that. And it's you get some semblance of Arthur kind of back to normal because he says it in such that tone of voice too, right? He's like, you can't tell me what to do. I'm the crown prince, Merlin, right? But then he immediately goes back to that dopey voice, right? Where he's like, but anything for you, my darling. Oh my god. He's like, this is the worst. He's like, okay, yeah, no, we need to go to Gaius. As Merlin is telling Gaius too, they're oh, we have a merge, he's been with love spell. Arthur over here is over here. He's touching him. He's trying to he's over touching the hem of his shirt. He's touching me. He just slaps his hand away. And so while Gaius is off informing Uther of the terrible situation, well, that kind of occurred, they're left to their own devices, just sitting there waiting for Gaius to get back. And Merlin's pacing. He can't believe this is happening. He's I can't because he's being in love with him because for obvious reasons. And he tries to calm him down, no, it's oh my love, it's fine, it's not working, right? If anything, it makes it so much worse, right? Because of how touchy he is, but also how that dumb look on his face, right? And he's we have to get you to training. You can't act like this. And he tries to reassure him, or Arthur does, and it doesn't really work because obviously Merlin has always loved Arthur, but he's kept that to himself. because there's no way Arthur would feel the same way, of course. So he's always kept to himself. So him kind of being like this makes this like worse for him because he's like, because he knows like in his head, like as soon as he, as soon as he gets the antidote and he turns back, this will all be gone, right? He'll never act like this again towards Merlin. He'll never see Merlin like this, like in this light, ever again. Then Gwen, she ends up coming in because she needs Gaius or something, and Merlin's like, no, he's not here right now. He's somewhere else, and he like quickly like rushes her out. It's like, oh, but come back later. Okay, bye, love you, Gwen. It's like just rushes her out, like go. And obviously because she interrupted kind of like a moment, so she's immediately like smiling because she's like, oh, because everyone knows except them two of how stupidly in love they are with each other, right? They're the only ones who are in denial, like, oh, he probably doesn't feel the same way. Oh my god. And then so but like he's like, okay, bye, love you, Gwen, right? And I was like, love you. He's like, what, do you have something with her? It's like, that this is. He's like, you serious? I can't say I love you to my friends. Like, what's wrong with you? He's like, you don't say it to me. It's like, oh my god. He's like, I'm a servant, I can't say that. It's like, what are we doing? And there's like some semblance of normal, right? Because he's like he threatens to like fire him, which is like he'll never do it, but it's like some semblance of normal. And this when Gaius comes back and informs him, okay, everything's kind of been worked out, right, with Luther. Now all it's left to do with is getting the little spell over with. Fun. And Arthur's still in there, but he's like, I don't need any antidotes. Like, I'm completely fine. You're not fine. He's like, okay, but we gotta get through training like this. He's like, training will be completely fine. It immediately wasn't fine. Absolutely not. Because he's like sparring with Lane, right? And he's immediately gone to like trying to show off to Merlin, right? He's like winking at him. It's like being extra showboaty. He's like, good lord, man. Gawain comes up. Of course he does. And he's already like, oh, so he finally made the move. It's like, no, because again, everyone knows except them, right? Just in denial about it, right? So Gawain even said, he's like, oh, he's always been like this. Now it's just like, he's like, no, it's fine. Like, and he teases. And obviously Arthur notices this. Gawain noticing this too, can't help himself. So he's like, he's being extra touchy with Merlin, right? He's being like hanging off him and everything. Merlin like pushes him off. He's like, please don't make this worse. I hate you. Don't. Too late for that, because already like Percival has to like hold him back because he's already yelling. It's like, could we not do this? He's like, 5 seconds is all I want. After the disastrous training session, then came council meeting. Usually he just first off, he's never, not never there, but a lot of times he's not. But when he is, he's just standing in the corner basically. Like just watching. But this time, obviously, Arthur does not do that. He insists that Merlin also has a seat. So now he's just kind of awkwardly sitting next to Arthur as he like just reaches for like his thigh in his hand, right? Just underneath the table. It's like, please. So when it's over, obviously Uther wants to talk to Arthur, like when everyone like alone, everyone's out. So he's just there waiting for Arthur outside of it. And this is where Lance and Leon are, come and they're like, oh, he's always liked you, right? Like before any of this, right? And again, Merlin's still not believing it. Like, oh, this is ridiculous. Like, oh, I know, it's not ridiculous. But the love spell has very clearly made it so, like, because he's always liked him. And the love spell has just basically made it that he is now terrible at hiding it, right? Because the jealousy, the not so subtle, like, glances is nothing new. The touching, I guess, is kind of new. I say kind of, because let's be real, always done that. It's just now, like, more lingering touches. I was supposed to say intimate, but I mean, but it's just like none of this is new. It's just the love spell has made it where he's just, I shouldn't say obvious. He just doesn't care to hide it. He just it's whatever, right? And they're basically telling them, but of course he still doesn't believe them, right? And Lance is just kind of like, they're joking, right? Joking around with him, but they do try and really get to him, like, no, he's like this. He does like you, right? And as like Lance is like hugging him, perfect time for Arthur to come out, of course. And like he immediately beelines it towards Merlin. They immediately know, like, oh, time to go. They're immediately quickly gone. Make themselves scarce. Don't want to be part of it. And of course, because he saw that, he's like, oh, what's between you two? It's like, or is this something like, no, it's so over. Because it's getting to him that's like, again, because he doesn't believe anything of it, what anyone's saying, right? But this makes it, so to him, this makes it harder. Because, like, once this love potion, like, once they have the antidote, this is all gone, right? He'll still have to deal with his feelings. But this could be like, this is like a, like false hope in a way, right? Of something he can never have, Yes, it is, but he doesn't believe that. At the end of the day, after dinner and Arthur's had his bath, Merlin is basically like they're sitting there in silence for a bit, right? And Arthur breaks the silence because he's poking the fire. Arthur asks, Merlin, it's like you. I wouldn't say ask, but I mean in a questioning tone, I guess. It was definitely more questioning tone because it's like he's already kind of sure of it. It's kind of where he's like, "You love me, don't you?" And Merlin, and this because he already has the antidote, so I guess this is why he decides like to be truthful. Not that he won't remember. Well, okay, there are chances he won't remember it, but it's the moment he decides like, yes, I love you more than anything, and I need you, right? So he's very truthful, and honest. And that's why, because he has an antidote, it hurts so much more for him when Arthur, like when he says that, Arthur gets like, he's very visibly like excited because, oh, his feelings were reciprocated. But obviously, this is the love potion. So to him, he's like, he doesn't really feel this way. And to Merlin too, he even takes note of like, he's saying how much he loves Arthur. And at no point, even under the spell, has Arthur even said that he loves him, which to him signifies yeah, he like this is just love spell. He doesn't really feel that way, which makes this so much more difficult for Merlin, right? So he ends up getting the antidote. Arthur doesn't really want to take it. He's like, do I have to? He's like, but okay, he will. And despite Arthur like asking him, because like, okay, nighttime, all right. Like, despite asking him, it's like, oh, will you stay? You know, for him it'll hurt so much more if he does, even if he wants to and he wants to look back. Because at this point he's crying, right? His back turned, he's heading to a door, he's crying. And as much as he wants to, he doesn't. Because it'll hurt so much more knowing like once the antidote kicks in, like in the morning, literally probably won't remember any of this and be more confused than anything, right? So and they'll go back to normal. And this will never like this will be like nothing have happened. It'll be like, it never happened. And so he chooses, not to stay. Next morning, he comes in, kind of like how nothing, just, which I guess is the best way, like nothing happened. So he's like rise and shine, like but he's surprised because Arthur is pretty much already up. He's just standing by the window, contemplating. He didn't even hear Merlin come in until he calls out to him, and he's like startled by his presence. And Merlin is very much clearly trying not to like think of anything that happened the other day. So he's just going about, just yapping away like things are normal and like nothing really happened. And Arthur's like visibly annoyed, so he like called out to him to like shut up, right? And Merlin could see like he's serious, right? And he's actually annoyed, so he's like, okay, right? So he does keep quiet, especially since it probably is really hard because he's probably to him he's like, okay, well, he's probably confused and putting things together from the events of yesterday, right? Because his memories might be like a little bit blacked out, right? Because he's staring at the spot where he had, what was her name again? Eden, where he had stabbed her, right? So he at least like he definitely knows that part. He just probably doesn't remember much else after that. But he's like staring at that spot, so he's thinking, oh, this must be a bit hard for him. But after like a little bit, Arthur does kind of go back to normal, kind of, right? He's just not as talkative, I guess you could say, because like after that, like he has a sausage, he immediately shoves it into Merlin's hand, right? It's like, oh, right. Merlin's pretty happy about that. And he's like, okay, we're going hunting today. It's like, don't you have princely duties? And he's like, I do, but like, I'm the prince. I can do whatever I want. So like, okay, definitely got back to some semblance of normal. During the hunt, pretty much all of them, right? All of them notice Arthur's off. He's so much quieter than he usually is, right? Gawain's the one that kind of says he's like, ooh, he's kind of off. It's like, well, you would be too because of a love potion, right? So, but Merlin hands out the stew and he's like handing one to Arthur. He's like, you okay? It's like, because he's a bit further away from the others. The others are, of course, can't help but eavesdrop. They're just looking over them. But he's like, do you want to, talk about it at any point? And, Merlin starts immediately kind of prattling on, be like, oh, like love potion. Like he starts just yapping away because he's nervous, right? And Arthur just kind of looks at her like fondly. He's like, okay, shut up. Like, so again, kind of back to like normal in a sense because he, lightly punches his arm and like puts his arm around him and they start walking back to fire. Like, it's again a semblance normal. Of course, Merlin blushes and he thinks he imagines it. He's like, oh, Arthur's blushing. Like, no, it's imaginary. It is so clear that Arthur just doesn't know what to do himself because now he found out like Merlin feels the same way as him, and now he just doesn't know what to do. But we're in denial again, so Merlin doesn't really believe it. So now, after the days ended, they're back in chambers. This is where, because Merlin's like, Merlin's taking off his cape and like, and everything. This is where Arthur finally confronts him, where he's like, "Did you mean it?" And Merlin wants to like, he's like, "Oh, what are you talking about?" It's like, because he wants to play dumb. He's like, "Oh, what are you talking about?" Right? And he's like, "No." It's like, "I remember." It's like, ooh, awkward. And so he like he almost wants to run, like to just avoid this, right? But Arthur kind of holds him in place, like puts his arms like on like his hands on his shoulders, like it has like a pleading look, like almost like to say. And so of course Merlin's like, yes, I meant it, right? And before he can even like kind of repeat and saying like, I love you, Arthur says it first, where he's like, I love you. And so Merlin is immediately like, at this point crying again. And he's like, cool, let's go to Gaius again. Like he's immediately thinking, I think the love potion still has an effect on you. We need to go to Gaius. Like still just so deeply in denial until Arthur has to like, no, I'm not under effect of the potion. Like I do love you. Like I do feel the same way. And so this is where like it finally like we're finally seeing it, right? Or Merlin is getting through to Merlin like, yeah, no, he was just terrible at hiding. Like what they said was true. He's always loved you. He's just terrible at hiding. Like, well, yeah, he was just terrible at hiding it under the effects of the love potion. That was it, right? And so now they finally are able to kiss. So after their kiss and they'll make out, whatever, they're this is when Arthur, which I will say, okay, first off, he brought this up when they were like when he was staying outside the council chamber, right, with him and Leon. They're there. This is where Lance, he had whispered to him, of course, but he had said, it's like, oh, you can finally confess your feelings, but also confess that you got, tell him perfect, which I don't know if that would be perfect time to tell him he has magic, but it would be a timing. I don't know. But I guess technically because he's always loved, so sure. I don't know. None of them matters because clearly, because he was like, no, I'm never confessing my, But literally in the afterglow, where him and Merlin are just laying in bed, Arthur literally just said, he's like, so is this now where you're gonna tell me that you also have magic? Sir, what? When did you find that out? He's like, Arthur's like, or not Arthur, Merlin's like, oh, equally surprised. I'm sorry. What did you just say? Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye!